Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Kortex Media Podcast, where we navigate the fast-paced world of automotive and more. I'm your host, Korson Schmidt. Here today, I have Brady Schmidt. Brady is a nationally recognized leader in the retail automotive industry with over 33 years of experience spanning dealership ownership, mergers and acquisitions, and executive leadership. As the founder and managing partner of Accural Equity Partners and a longtime president and CEO of National Business Brokers, Brady has personally handled more than 450 M&A transactions and overseen the sale of over 950 car dealerships, representing more than $15 billion in sales. He's also an active dealer principal and partner in multiple dealerships across California and Hawaii, and has been appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom to serve on the California New Motor Vehicle Board. Beyond business, Brady is deeply committed to community service, serving on nonprofit boards like Hyundai Hope on Wheels and Petra Cares. With a reputation for integrity, mentorship, and industry innovation, Brady Schmidt is one of the most influential voices shaping the future of automotive retail in America. It's great to have you here, Brady.
Well, thanks, Corson. I need to get a copy of that intro so I can pass it around to people. It's quite flattering. Thank you.
No worries. Well, there's tons of information out there on you, so I had to do my research and really dive deep on what I could find about you.
Appreciate that.
So I kind of
Great to
touched
be
on your
here.
background there, Brady. You've spent over 3 decades in the automotive industry, from dealership ownership to leading the largest new car dealership brokerage in the country. What first drew you to the industry, and how has your journey evolved over the years?
It's a great question, Corson. Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you and excited always to be with up and coming leaders in the automotive space. I'm pretty passionate about retail automotive and all of its forms and facets. It's an industry that makes a huge impact on the economies of both of our countries, but
For
also
sure.
just a huge impact on people. So, which is where my passion is. I've, like many people, fell into the car business.
Yep.
My family, my father started National Business Brokers back in 1978. He was an accountant, and he decided he wanted to move to Southern California from Utah and start a business. And he ended up starting a business brokerage company, selling all kinds of companies. And in
Cool.
1984, he listed his first new car dealership for sale, Lloyd Pearson Mercedes-Benz in Pasadena, California, and absolutely fell in love with the car business, fell in love with car dealers, and just thought they were fun to work with, entrepreneurs that were very invested in their communities and cared a lot about their people. And it was a great business. And so he listed that Mercedes-Benz dealership. We sold it to Fritz Hitchcock, who was a legend in the car business here in Southern California. And he just decided he wanted to dedicate the rest of his career selling new car dealerships. I graduated from college in 1991 and thought I was going to go a different direction in sales, not come to work with my dad, but I got a phone call from him about a week before I graduated, and he had found out that his partner of 13 years had been embezzling from him,
Oh
and
no.
we were in a lot of trouble. So he asked me to come to work for him temporarily while he figured out what to do. And that temporary assignment turned into a 33-year career. So had
That
the pleasure of working with my dad for the first 13 years, and then took the company over in 2000 as the company's president and led that company till today. Actually, still lead that company.
that's
And
amazing.
yeah, so we focus on brokering new car dealerships, and our national company in the United States with 5 offices nationally, and sold over 950 new car dealerships. And that's how I ended up getting into the new car business as a dealer principal. And then most recently founded a private equity company that is founder owned and operated and funded with another partner called Accural Equity Partners that I founded late last year.
That's awesome. That's super exciting. You have such a diverse background. I'm excited to get into this to hear more about everything. As a partner and dealer principal in multiple dealerships, how do you balance your time between all of your work and day-to-day operations?
That's a great question. It really is about people. It's about hiring the right people for the right seats to lead these companies. I am not super involved day to day anymore. In some of these companies, I split my time basically between being a dealer principal, which I really enjoy and spend most of my time doing, and
Hmm.
then working in national business brokers, actually helping clients that have been clients for years, in the M&A space. So, but we have really good people in all of those companies. In my dealerships, we have really great general managers that operate each of those rooftops. And then at National Business Brokers, we actually just hired a new CEO. So I'm replacing myself in that company as we speak. He starts full time on Monday, believe it or not.
That's super exciting
And
things.
we're transforming that company into a full blown investment bank. And we hired a guy by the name of Zach Kuzemka out of Raymond James. He was the COO for Raymond James, and so he's
Wow.
joining us full time on Monday. Yeah.
That's super exciting. Things are always moving forward for you, and things are always growing as well, giving you new opportunities to venture further. You
Yeah.
spoke on your team and how they're helping you with everything here. What are some of the key qualities that you look for when building such a high performance team?
So one of the things that I've found is having a consistent operating system and policies and procedures in the way we operate each of these companies. And it really starts with the why.
Hmm.
And so as a team, the executive leadership team of each of these companies, we spend a few days in a room together and we really go through a process of identifying our core purpose and our core values. And we crystallize that into a very clear statement about who we are as a company and what we do. And then we use that as the litmus test to hire people, to promote people, and to fire people. And so we've done this now, we've implemented this in all of our companies, and it's amazing how the right people identify themselves through this process, and the people who really shouldn't be on the team anymore identify themselves through this process. And then it also creates the criteria by which we go and recruit the leaders for these companies. So it really does start with that, and then we sit down together as an executive team and spend 2 days envisioning what our 10-year picture looks like. And then we break that 10-year picture down into a 3-year picture, and we break that down into a 1-year picture, and then we break that down into 90-day priorities, and then we
That's
break
awesome.
that down into 7-day action items.
Wow.
And we have a weekly meeting cadence, and the executive teams we're on a 90-minute meeting together once a week, and we're just checking in on those 7-day action items and 90-day priorities. And then we do quarterly meetings and annual meetings to make sure that we're in alignment with those goals and if those goals need to be adjusted or if or if we're on track. And by implementing that system, it's allowed me to find extremely high quality leaders that care about the same things that I care about and have the same kind of vision that I have. And so when we find people that see what we see and believe what we believe from a core purpose and value standpoint, and then and you add to that the right skill sets for the role that they're being hired for, it really creates the opportunity to inject a tremendous amount of velocity in each of these companies.
For sure.
And then I spend most of my time, making really uh, more vision oriented decisions. The goal is to make fewer and fewer decisions, but make sure that those decisions are very high quality decisions.
Yep. That's awesome. I love the system that you have in place for all your companies, so everyone can know the vision of where you guys want to take your company, and everyone is always pushing towards that final goal, taking little steps at a time to get there. I think that's really amazing, and that's kind of every aspect in life, right? If you have a bigger picture where you want to go,
Right.
if you break that down, it's going to be a lot easier to get to that final destination than trying to take a big leap.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it also creates a tremendous amount of accountability. There's
Mm,
unlike most organizations where everybody's kind of siloed in their own area and compartmentalized, this process and the software we use to support this effort creates a tremendous amount of transparency. We're all kind of living in a glass house. I can see everybody's 90-day priorities and 7-day action items, and they can all see mine. I'm not immune to this process, and I'm held accountable just like everybody else is to what we've committed to doing on behalf of the team. And it really does create incredible momentum and the ability to operate at scale with these companies.
for sure. No, that's amazing. So you're an active on nonprofit boards like Hyundai Hope on Wheels and Petra Cares. I'm a huge fan of people who are giving back to the community. What was your inspiration to get involved with these nonprofit organizations?
That's a good question. Well, one of my core values and something that really drives every area of my life is I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I believe that Jesus, made an incredible sacrifice for me. So, my purpose in life is to give those same kinds of things back to people and to show people that kind of grace and love. And so I care deeply about making an impact on people. And Hyundai Hope on Wheels is an incredible organization. I'm one of 7 dealers in the country that has the ability to be on that board. We give $25 million a year in pediatric cancer research grants
Wow,
away to researchers across the country. We just went global this year. We actually launched in Canada
that's
just
amazing.
about 2 months ago, which is fantastic.
Super
And
cool.
the way that it's funded is really amazing. Is that it was a dealer that started this, 2 dealers actually in the Northeast that started this organization 25 years ago, and it's turned into where every single dealer in the country gives a certain amount of each vehicle sale to Hyundai Hope on Wheels, and then Hyundai Motor America, NHMC, Hyundai Motor Company, match that donation. And in fact, they
That's
even a
awesome.
little more than match it, which is what allows us to give $25 million a year away. We're one of, if not the largest pediatric cancer research grant givers in the world, I believe.
That's great.
And so it's really, really cool organization. I'm really privileged to be a part of that. And we do these handprint ceremonies where we present checks to research hospitals and the doctors that are doing the research. And these handprint ceremonies, we have kids that are in the pediatric ward that are currently fighting cancer come out, and we paint their hands and they put their handprint on a Hyundai vehicle. And it's just
That's
amazing to see
awesome.
these kids' courage and the bravery of facing these diseases it's just heart-wrenching every time, but also hugely inspiring.
For
So that
sure.
work is really amazing. And then the Petra Cares organization is another amazing organization that started. One of the companies that we own is we distribute automotive chemicals to new car dealers and independent repair shops in Arizona, California, and Hawaii. And the manufacturer is Petra Automotive Chemicals, and they started a foundation called Petra Cares out of Houston that takes kids that are aging out of foster care. And this is going to blow you away when I give you these statistics. It's unbelievable the tragedy that this is going on in the United States right now. But every year there's between 35,000 and 55,000 kids that age out of the foster care system. And I say
Holy
kids,
cow.
they're 18 years old. The day of their 18th birthday, they age out. The government stops funding, so they literally become homeless on their 18th birthday.
Wow.
These are kids that have never been adopted. So they've been moved from group home to group home every couple of years. They've typically been moved around from school to school, so they don't have a friend network that's strong. They don't have a family. They're undereducated typically because they're pushed around from school to school, and then they're just launched into the world, with nothing, and they're
Mm-hmm.
homeless on their 18th birthday. The statistics on these kids, if you're, this is just tragic, but within 3 years, on average, 86% of the kids that age out of foster care are either homeless, in prison, addicted to drugs and homeless, or dead.
Wow.
The average life expectancy of these kids is 23 years old.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that's 35 to 55,000 people that are aging out of foster care every year, and their average life expectancy is 23 years old.
That's
So at
crazy.
Petra Cares, what we do is we take kids that are in that situation, very vulnerable. We pay for them to go through, and we put on a 7-week automotive mechanic training course, technician training course that's ASE
Mm-hmm.
certified. They graduate in 7 weeks. We give them a full set of tools, and we place them in a job at a new car dealership or an independent repair facility as a level 1 technician.
That's
And
amazing.
we've had incredible success with this organization. And so I've agreed to bring that program out to our Ford store here in Southern California, which we're hoping to launch by the end of this year. We're actually raising money for that right now. So I'd appreciate anybody's support. Petra Cares, petra-cares.org And if you designate any gifts toward the Southern California expansion, we'd greatly appreciate. We're trying to raise about another $300,000 to launch that program by the end of the year here in
That's
Southern
amazing.
California.
That was going to be my next question. How can people reach out and attribute to these organizations?
Well, Hyundai Hope on Wheels is easy to find if you look it up on the internet or Instagram. And Hyundai Hope on Wheels, we certainly would love donations there as well. And then petro-cares.org is the Petro Cares organization.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. And that is super. I didn't know those statistics at all. So that's amazing that you guys
Yeah.
are doing this for
Yeah.
the country and helping youngs get a start into life that they were never given. So that's
Yeah.
super amazing. And
Yeah,
I
it's
hope
pretty
people
cool.
are reaching out.
They not only become level one technicians, but we do a week on life skills where we open a bank account for them. We help them get their driver's license. Most of them don't
That's
have their
awesome.
driver's licenses. We bring people in that help teach them conflict resolution and how to interview for jobs, and it's a really really cool program.
That's awesome. We need more programs like this in the world to helping people get started in life, especially being 18 and getting kicked out, being homeless. That's super hard, like just for
Yeah.
anyone to go through. I think that's terrible. But as of being part of young people, what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur getting into the space, and how can they really make an impact?
That's great. Well, I will tell you that the automotive industry is a fantastic industry. There is all kinds of opportunity in the automotive industry, and the advice is no different than it would be if I was telling one of my kids, how to behave in the world today. I really feel like the bar is pretty low to
Hmm.
reach to succeed. If you're someone who is kind, if you care about people, if you work hard, show up early, stay late, um, become a professional, commit yourself to something and learn the craft. Like don't cut corners, like really do the work, and you're not going to be able to help but be successful. I
For sure.
mean, as someone now who's 35 years into business, I'm looking for people that are, that next generation that are coming up that are capable of leading. And I want to pour into those people and help them succeed and hopefully become a key part of our organizations.
For sure.
So I'm telling you, there are so many people that have the ability to help you along in your career if you show the basic qualities of integrity, honesty, hard work, willing to commit yourself to become expert at something or to take on challenges and show that you can actually perform. There's so much opportunity, it's ridiculous.
For sure. In every aspect, not even the automotive industry, but any aspect in life, there's so much opportunity as long as you dig your heels in and really push forward.
That's right. The
This
other thing
next
I'd add to
question.
that too, Corson, is I would say that care about people, care about relationships. And don't be afraid to talk to anybody. Like, to ask older people that you respect in business to mentor you or to give you advice or to go to lunch and go buy them lunch, take them to coffee if they're willing to sit with you. Talk to everybody you can talk to, but care about people. If you genuinely care about people, it's going to be amazing what doors open up.
That's some amazing advice. I'm gonna have to take that in on my own journey here through my entrepreneurship. But who was your biggest role model? You just spoke about helping people and becoming a role model for them. Who was your biggest role model throughout your journey?
Yeah, another good question. Well, I'd say that originally my father is probably the one who shaped me the most and shaped my career the most. He was a guy who loved people, was very good at what he did. He had incredible soft skills, a
Hmm.
very high emotional EQ, we call it. And so I learned a lot from him about how to treat people, how to deal with people. He told me all the time when I was a kid, he said, look at everyone else very broadly and look at yourself very narrowly, meaning hold yourself to a very high standard, but have a lot of room for other people and for people to make mistakes or to have different opinions than I have. And that philosophy has shaped me a lot. So he's probably my most significant mentor. And then, I've had the privilege of having another mentor in my life. His name is Gary Mole. He's partnered with me in one of the company's national business brokers, and has been a partner in the automotive companies as well. But he's now slowing down from those. But he's been an incredible mentor, like a big brother. He's about I don't know, he's maybe 8 years older than I am. And when we were going through a very difficult time at National Business Brokers in 2008, when the big recession hit,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I reached out to him, and he came over and gave me some advice and ended up joining me in the company. And he's been a huge mentor and source of wisdom in my life.
That's awesome.
But I have a lot of people in my life that have given me a lot of wisdom. Those are two standouts for sure.
For sure. No, that's amazing. And if you can work with those people and learn from them, I feel like that's one of the biggest thing. Like you said, take out someone to coffee and learn, and just pay for their coffee or take them out for lunch and learn. That's it's a huge
It's a,
aspect. 'Cause a lot of people in our generation are scared to talk to the older generation because
yeah.
people think it's a different time of world, but they still have that knowledge, and they still have a ton of knowledge, and a lot of knowledge
Well,
that they
and,
want to
and look, I
share
mean,
as well.
look at what you did, Corson. You started just searching around the internet. You found my LinkedIn profile. You weren't shy. You reached out, and here we are. I mean,
Yeah,
you never know. People in my generation want to help the younger
yeah,
generation figure it out. We really do, especially if we found any kind of success. I mean, we really want to help other people, accomplish their goals. So yeah, that would be one of my biggest pieces of advice to young people is don't be shy. Don't be afraid to start conversation and reach out. Just be kind, be kind and curious. Be curious and ask questions. And, we all like to talk about ourselves. So
yeah.
it's not hard to get us talking.
For sure. No, thanks for. I'm super glad that you guys responded and reached out, and could book this call. So that's amazing. So this next question is more about industry trends. Obviously, the automotive retail landscape is always changing with technology and shifting customer expectations. But what major trends do you see shaping the future of dealership operations?
That's another good, this is something we spent a lot of time on as leadership team in our dealerships, particularly. I think that scaling is extremely important in the retail automotive business. It's going to be more and more difficult to be an individual operator of a single rooftop dealership or even a small number of dealerships, three or four. We have four rooftops right now. We're in the process of buying two more right now. And it's difficult with only four rooftops even to have the kind of buying power and shared services across the dealership group to really be efficient and operate. It's such a low profit margin business, and it's a very high cash intensive business that I really think that one of the trends that we've seen and will continue to see is if you're going to be in the business, you have to scale and you have to own multiple rooftops in order to accomplish that efficiency to make it profitable. It's one big trend. Another big trend is the shifting landscape in EVs. Government regulations and authorities that kind of are outside forces that dictated that trend, accelerated it quicker than the market was ready for, and we're going to continue to see a retraction in EVs. I think that hybrids is going to be a very big piece of the puzzle for the next 5 to 10 years until we can get EV prices down and infrastructure in place to
For
support
sure.
EVs. They're fantastic vehicles. Like the
Yeah,
vehicles are really great, but we're not ready for it. We're not ready for mass adoption, and so. I think we're going to see some shifting priorities at manufacturers on the EV front. There's going to be some real strong leaders. Hyundai's going to be one of the winners, I think, in that space for sure, with the smart investments that they've made and the quality of their products. Remember, I am a Hyundai dealer, so I'm a little biased, but
yeah,
and Ford too. The Ford products, the Mach-E is a fantastic vehicle. So
yeah.
I think that they have a good place in the market, but I think that the infrastructure has to catch up, and
For sure.
so that's going to be a big trend that shapes the business. And then regulation, it's regulation. It's harder and harder to be a new car dealer as time goes on. So that's why size and scale is really going to matter.
For sure. If there's some smaller dealers listening to this that want to expand, what's the best way for them to get in contact with those other dealers and kind of get grouped up with some more to get some more rooftops and get things
Yeah,
rolling?
that's another good question. Well, I mean, obviously, I would direct them to National Business Brokers, our company that helps dealers find stores and buy stores. We're not
Yeah.
the only broker in the space. There's a number of competitors, so I would talk to all of them because really you're looking for the right opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is about smart growth and making sure you're ready for that growth with the people and the deep enough bench in place and the capital to be able to expand. But if you check those two boxes, then you should be expanding.
For
And
sure.
so yeah, so I wrote a whole white paper on this actually that I think is posted on our website at nationalbusinessbrokers.com that you can
Okay.
go to on our resources link. There's a white paper on how to prepare yourself for growth as a new car dealer,
Mm-hmm.
and be happy to share that with you too, so you can distribute it out to your network.
No, for sure. I'd definitely be interested in that. We'll chat after the podcast and I'll get my hands on that. But how do you see technology in the internal sides of the dealerships shaping the future with AI and all the new technologies that are now being released?
Yeah, that's it's good. It's one of the initiatives that we're in the middle of right now in our dealerships, and we have a chain of independent repair shops in Scottsdale. So we're creating an integrated tech stack right now, and one of the things that the old model or the model that dealers have allowed to happen for decades is we're an industry that feeds off of vendors. We have
Mm-hmm.
4.99 for this software, 4.99 a month for this software, and there's thousands of them.
Yeah,
And we've allowed this to go on for years and years, and there's really no um, integrated tech stack, except for the large publics and the large dealer groups have gotten in on this, and that's part of the reason why they've been so successful.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in the middle of that transformation right now in our retail dealerships, and creating an integrated CRM with our dealer management system, and having AI take over components of that where it really makes sense, is really where the future is for, and allowing us to separate from a lot of these consultants and third party software vendors that are eating at our profitability because we're spending tens of thousands of dollars a month in these outside services that really can be integrated. And
For
AI
sure.
is allowing that to be accelerated. So we have an offshore AI developer that's fantastic, that's done this for a number of automotive companies, and they're looking at everything from how to handle initial inquiries from guests, whether they come in from a phone call or through our website or through a third party lead coming into our CRM, and how to engage them, how to do follow up, how to encourage reviews, and even identify challenges or problems early and intervene with one of our managers if we've given somebody a bad experience. How can we rectify that? And AI can be used for a lot of that. We're also using AI for training for our
Mm-hmm.
salespeople and for our internet department and for our service advisors, and so having some of these integrated tools. We're using AI for recruiting and finding people to come and join our teams. So there's a lot of applications that AI can be utilized to make us more efficient and make things more
For
cost
sure.
effective.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make a huge impact, not even on the automotive world, but in every aspect of every single company. It's going to help out a lot. I don't think it's going to really take over jobs, but just enhance the productivity and the efficiency of jobs.
Well, I think it is what it's going to do is it's going to allow people to do more of the important things and less of the menial things that are a part of their jobs right now. And the more that we can get our salespeople and our managers and our service advisors interfacing with guests and less, the paperwork, the more we can have technicians actually under the hood and fixing cars. rather than routing a repair order or entering the warranty information. Those are all things that can be automated that we're looking at, and so there is a lot of opportunity to make people more efficient.
For sure, definitely. Yeah, it's gonna be. It's. I'm excited to see what the future brings for AI and even technology in any sort of business, including the automotive industry. As you look at the future for Accural Equity and National Business Broker and the rest of your companies, obviously, what are some of the top priorities or goals that you guys have set in place for the next 6 to 12 months? And then what are the big goals, the big visions that you guys go over with your team as well?
That's great. Well, Accrual Equity Partners is really designed to be an umbrella company, a holding company that allows us to really grow in each of these verticals. And we have, obviously the M&A business with national business brokers. We have the new car retail business with our new car dealerships. We have a chain of independent repair facilities. We have an automotive chemicals company. We have a credit card processing company that supports all of those companies. We
Super
have
cool.
a body shop vertical that we're just getting ready to launch. And then we're also under contract on buying some home services companies, because once you are in people's garages with vehicles, you now have access to um, their needs as for electricians, their needs for plumbers, for HVAC, for different home services. So we're actually in the process of buying some companies in the home services space, and our goal is really to be an integrated company that never loses a customer. That
Mm-hmm.
we have something for a customer, whether it's a new car, a used car, fixing their car at a new car dealership or an independent repair shop. They get in an accident, we want to fix their car at our body shops. They need, a charger installed in their home. We want to be the ones to go out and install the charger. They need, plumbing fixed or a roof on their house. That's the idea. That's the big vision over the
Yep.
next 10 years, is to have an umbrella company through Accrual Equity Partners that really um, serves all of our guests and customers with extremely high quality work in every one of those sectors.
That's awesome.
And then employing a consistent operating system across all those companies, hiring extremely high quality capable leaders, and having an integrated tech stack, and also having a really professional recruiting process that's driven by our core values and our purpose in each of those companies, is what's allowing us to scale so quickly. And I just see us continuing to do that for the next 10 years and building a really, really great company.
That's super exciting. I love how everything that you guys do always comes back to the customer, right? Like if they bring in their vehicle, they need a house to store that vehicle, and you guys want to make that all come back to your company, and it's all looking out for the customer to give them the best option as well, while
That's
still
it. It's all
supporting such
about,
a great brand.
yeah, that's it. It's all about delivering the highest quality customer service and product that can be delivered to people, and then also giving back, and having a meaningful piece of our effort and profit that we make being given back into the communities that we serve. One of the things we do in our Hawaii store is, we have three stores there. We have two Hyundai stores and a Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram store, and we're opening a commercial truck center and a body shop there in about 2 weeks. We did a survey to figure out what the needs of the community really were, and we found out that about a third of the people that are right in the community, that live in the community where we do business, are experiencing food insecurity. And so
Okay,
we opened up a food pantry in part of our facility, a 3,500 square foot food pantry.
that's
And we started
amazing.
it 2 years ago, and we serve 16,000 people
Wow,
2 weeks worth of groceries a month out of that
wow.
3,500 square foot facility. And it's just crazy. Like when you start looking for ways to serve and help, that it's not hard to find. It's not hard to find opportunities.
For sure. No, that's super amazing. I didn't even know about that one, so I'm glad you shared it. And if people
Yeah, that
wanted to help
organization
out
is
with
called
that,
Giving Hope Hawaii. So givinghopehawaii.org is our website, and we're a part of a bigger network just called Giving Hope, which was started by a new car dealer out of New Orleans, a gentleman by the name of Troy Duhan. and that they're the largest food pantry in the state of Louisiana. They came out of Katrina, and he donated one of his dealership facilities, his Toyota store, to help FEMA distribute food. And out of that, that's how they started Giving Hope, and they're the largest food pantry in the state of Louisiana to this day.
That's
So
amazing.
we just came under their umbrella in Hawaii and opened this little 3,500 square foot facility, and it's just crazy how much food we're distributing through that 3,500 square feet a month.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Do you plan to expand that further and get more involved with different states?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to open a pantry, I think, in Honolulu, and then we'll eventually open a food pantry here in Southern California around our dealerships here. And
That's
then we also want to
awesome.
bring the Petra Cares program to all those locations. So, the more you talk to me, you're going to realize we really want to integrate all of these things. We found best practices in all these different businesses and in these nonprofits, and we really want to spread them around everywhere that we do business.
That's amazing. I think we need more people like you that want to take or give back to the communities that they're where their customers are involved with, because I don't think we have enough of it. I had actually had someone on the podcast the other day who he was an engineer, and he saw the demand for a nonprofit automotive repair shop. So he started a nonprofit automotive repair shop while working
Love that.
as an engineer. And
Wow.
he amazing individual, and his shop's Good Karma Garage, and he's stepping away from the
Love that.
engineering gig and focusing more on the nonprofit. He had to open a commercial while doing it, but he wants to keep that nonprofit going just to help out the community.
Wow, that's fantastic. Love
I,
that.
it's a great story, and I don't have it posted yet, but he's a really great individual.
I'll have to watch
Um,
that when you post it and get connected
for
with him.
for sure, yeah, definitely. What was one of your biggest challenges being involved with so many companies and businesses? How do you overcome these challenges?
I see challenges as just a part of the process.
Hmm.
You can't do anything that doesn't have challenges, and nothing worth doing is easy.
Yeah,
And so, you have to build in as a part of the process how to identify issues, how to what we call IDS them, identify, um, and then discuss, and then solve them. And having a process where you're actively looking for and identifying issues and getting ahead of those issues as much as you can, and getting a bunch of smart people around you. There's a lot of wisdom in a multitude of counsel,
for sure.
and getting a lot of wise people in a room, and identifying issues early and then coming up with solutions has got to be a part of the process. And there's just, you're not going to do anything that doesn't have challenges. So might as well plan for them, and make it a part of how you do business every day is solving issues. So
For sure, and that's why you surround yourself with such a good team that has the same vision in mind, is to help you overcome those issues.
that's right. And capital is tough. I mean, that's the hardest part for most entrepreneurs is we're so growth minded. We tend to grow businesses quickly, and a lot of times our growth will outpace our ability to fund that growth.
Hmm.
And earlier in my career, I always thought that the profits that I would generate from the businesses would give me enough working capital to sustain the growth, and that's really not true when you start growing really fast.
Yeah,
So having a really strong capital plan is really important, and having a more sophisticated capital plan than just I'm going to take out a second mortgage on my house and I'm going to sign everything I can away to leverage to put money into something. Uh, One of the biggest lessons and hardest lessons I had to learn is to slow down enough to come up with a really solid capital plan, because your growth really can outpace your ability to fund it.
that's some great advice. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. And
Sure.
you've so much knowledge. But you have? What advice would you have given yourself when you first stepped into this industry? What advice would you give yourself now?
My tendency is to just trust people a little too soon and a little too much. I
Yeah.
think that if I was giving myself advice, I would be more discerning. Still be really open and caring and loving people well, but being more discerning who I would let into the inner circle and help me build things
Okay.
with. And so most of the big mistakes that I've made have been people mistakes and
Mm-hmm.
trusting the wrong people, uh, you know, allowing the wrong people in too close a handful of times,
Mm-hmm.
over the course of my career. But, it's also through those experiences that taught me the most and I grew the most from and made significant changes, so I don't regret any of those decisions. But if I was advising myself, I would definitely hire slowly and fire quickly.
That's some great advice. That's awesome. Final question: where can people find you? I know you have tons of businesses. You probably have socials. People can find you as well.
Yeah, the easiest way to find me is just my email address, Brady at Accrual Equity Partners or Brady at nationalbusinessbrokers.com. Those two, I look at those emails all day long. So
That's
that's an
amazing.
easy way to reach me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Brady. Your knowledge is impeccable, and I'm just so glad that you were here to share your experience and knowledge within the industry. And this episode is amazing. I hope people that started listening it really chime in and listen to the whole thing because every minute that you spoke, there's a piece of knowledge coming out.
I appreciate that, Corson. You're too kind. So I've enjoyed it. It's been good to be with you for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thanks so much for coming on, and I appreciate it.
Hey, you bet.